Australians could face 2-year jail sentences and fines of up to $25,000 under proposed laws that limit the use of some cash transactions to $10,000. There are calls for the government to withdraw the proposal, which was announced in the budget, to fight the so-called black economy. John Adams, an independent economist, has come out against the change.
I have characterised this on many occasions as the greatest attack on economic freedom and liberty in this country in the last 2 or 3 decades. I mean, this law is quite serious. I don't think in a free society government should have any role in telling people what to do with their own money, whether it's a cash transaction or a non-cash transaction. And so, having been a former Liberal advisor, having been an advisor to Arthur Sinodinos back in 2012-13, I have said to many Liberals in the government already that the Liberal Party is supposed to stand up for individual liberty, and this is a complete antithesis of what they claim that they stand for and what Australia should be about. So the government has claimed that this proposal is about the black economy, and obviously they had the black economy task force that they established in 2016. This is where this $10,000 cash transaction ban comes from. Now, the government has not provided any evidence that this ban will actually work in terms of reducing the black economy. A leading international expert, Professor Friedrich Schneider from the University of Linz, Austria, he's written extensively about the black economy, particularly in the European context, and he wrote a paper 2 years ago stating that there is weak empirical evidence that cash transaction bans in Europe actually resulted in any diminishing of the black economy. And one of the countries he cites is Sweden, where in Sweden they've virtually eliminated cash, and yet they still have a flourishing black economy. So remember, when Kevin Rudd became Prime Minister in 2008, he said that his government was going to be dedicated to evidence-based policy. Well, if we're going to stick to that standard that former Prime Minister Rudd set, it's incumbent on the government to prove to the Australian people that this proposed legislation is actually going to achieve its stated objectives. And yet international experts have poured cold water over these types of laws and whether they're actually going to meet any, or they're going to achieve any diminishing of the black economy. So the way the law is constructed at the moment, basically, if it's either business to business or individual to business. So if an individual was to engage in a $10,000 cash transaction above $10,000, that is illegal under this proposed law. So, for example, if you went to a car yard, if you went to a furniture shop, if you went to a jewelry store, and you proposed to pay cash for a product or a service, under this law, individual to business or business to business, that is illegal. Now, one of the key concerns about this is that the way that the government has proposed this law is there's a bill for Parliament and there's a proposed regulation. The bill makes everything illegal, and the regulation has certain exemptions. Now, one of the exemptions in the regulation is individual to individual transactions. So, for example, if you had a piece of furniture for $15,000 and I wanted to buy that off you for a one-off, and we're not enterprises, that the government says is legal under this law. But given that this exemption is in a regulation, the Assistant Treasurer at any time can remove these exemptions, make these exemptions illegal without the scrutiny of Parliament.